YouTube, thanks for tuning in again. I'm your host right here on Native, Sunny Rosario. I hope you're having a wonderful new year, meeting all your goals, keeping all of your resolutions, working out, eating right, and having a positive attitude, because that's what it takes to be a success today in the world. So I bless you and encourage you in your quest and your journey, whatever it is, at the beginning of this beautiful, exciting new year 2017. So we've been talking a lot about Hollywood, and I actually made a video about the rap industry and the music industry, and some people even think that to be in the music industry or even the modeling industry, you have to join the Illuminati. Now, whether you think that's true or not, it kind of doesn't matter, because the truth is some people are asked to do some really skeezy things in their pursuit of fame. The title of this video is "A Rich Guy Tried to Sex My Boyfriend." And I can't even believe that I forgot this story because it's super personal to me. It's probably because it happened so long ago. I was 24. About 24, and I had a boyfriend at the time. His name was Brent, and he was like probably 2 years younger than me, and he was like this corn-fed, tall, 6'4" Mormon boy with like blue eyes and six-pack abs, and oh my gosh, we had the funnest summers. That, you know, those young summers that seem like they never end, and then you get your like summer crush or your summer fling, and it's like you never forget that person in that summer. He was one of my favorite summer flings of all time. And I remember when I first met him and started like dating him. I met him at a swimming pool, and I had on a cute little red bikini, and I was with my girlfriend, and we brought some beers to the pool, and he was with his friend, and they brought some beers to the pool. One thing leads to another, and like 4 months later, we're like still dating each other, right? And it was just a lot of fun. But I remember he came to me one time and said, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe what just happened." I was like, "What just happened?" And he said that he met I remember who it was now. It was a very famous manager slash record executive or somebody to do with a huge major group that we all know. If you've been in a football stadium, you've like listened to their songs a lot. It's one of those bands where like one after another, you're at a Bronco game cheering, and at halftime you're listening to this band. So I don't really remember how he met these people, but I mean, he's gorgeous. He looked like Ashton Kutcher, and so he could have probably met anybody he wanted to just on his looks alone. And I was lucky enough to get to spend a lot of summer nights with that hot, sexy Mormon boy from Utah. And he was one of those guys that was like oblivious to how hot he was. Like, I think he knew that he was good looking because he could pull any girl he wanted. You know, and I'm no slouch, but he could pull any girl he wanted. But he was just like real down to earth. He worked at Old Navy part-time and at a college cafeteria for the rest of the time. So he was just a really humble guy, and he was raised really, really well. So he meets the producer for this band, and apparently the producer was gay or bisexual, because he met my boyfriend, who was my boyfriend at the time. Of course, he was really impressed with the fact that this is the guy behind this band that's everywhere at this time. And so he's like, "Do you want to come hang out? Do you want to come party?" So he and all his boys go party with this guy for like a weekend, and then they like hook up again later to start partying again later. And the rich guy that tried to sex my boyfriend kind of starts like moving in on my territory, and he's kind of like, "Wow, you're so handsome. You could be a model." He's like, "I have some serious connections. We can get you signed right up." And at that time my boyfriend was like, he thought this was like serious business. Like, he was actually being propositioned to become a model. And in fairness to him, he probably could have signed on the dotted line. He might have had to like cut his finger open. first. But he could have signed on the dotted line and been like the new Calvin, like he could have like elbowed Marky Mark out of the way and been like the new Calvin Klein guy. But he was raised right, so he didn't fall for it. So they went partying one day, and he's dropping my boyfriend off to his humble little apartment in this major limo, crazy car. And the guy's like, okay, I guess he had even like started like fund a wardrobe. At this point, I'm like gonna, as a female who's used to that kind of thing, I'm gonna be like, it ain't free. The dick ain't free, as they say, right? So I would be like, I realized that something was happening, but like I said, he was hot. He wasn't necessarily the sharpest knife in the drawer in some ways, and I don't think he was catching on as to like where this was headed. And so he was like, well, yeah, just, you know, give me a blowjob and it's a done deal. And my boyfriend's like, ah! Record scratch moment. My boyfriend's like, oh, so the clothes and the modeling contract's not free? Thought you liked me because of my look. He's like, oh, I like your looks. I want your looks on my knob. It was, dude. How do you think it feels to like potentially get your boyfriend stolen by some rich gay guy? That's not fair, first of all. That's breaking the rules. How's this bitch gonna compete with a limo and a modeling contract? I got a personality and I can give you a ride to work. That's all I have to offer. But yeah, so that's what happened to my boyfriend. A rich guy tried to sex my boyfriend. He propositioned him in a limousine after like grooming him for what I think was probably like 2 weeks or like a month of them meeting him. And then him and his boys are like going to parties. And then he finally gets him alone in a limousine. And the gig is up. Like it's like pay up time. And my boyfriend was out of there. He's like, oh, bro, you know, thanks. Like, he's flattered because I guarantee you it's not the first time a man has hit on him. He honestly looks like he should be gay because he is so good looking. You know, we all know how many of us girls have, like, spotted the finest guy in the room and, like, we like, search and destroy, that's the one. And then he kisses a man. And then your night's ruined. So yeah, that's how that ended. And I just want to put points on the board for my ex-boyfriend, Brent from Utah. Let's put him on the list of people who didn't sell their various body parts or their soul for a shallow career and a shallow lifestyle. And frankly, he had a little bit of a coke problem. I'm probably not supposed to say that on the internet. But I think that if he had done that, his little coke problem would have turned into a very big coke problem. And so just the things that I know about him personally, I know that his drinking would have like probably gotten really out of control. His cocaine use, his, you know, promiscuity, all that probably would have gotten out of control. And frankly, he went through some more trials and tribulations before, getting his life straight. Stay tuned for my next video on Brent from Utah, who robbed a bank. That video is called My Boyfriend Robbed a Bank. And I hope you enjoy. Thanks for tuning in.